Problems of Youth and Aging. Chapter 12. Problems of Youth and Aging, the Global Context of Youth and Aging. By 2020 there will be equal proportions of the global population that are younger than 5 and older than 65. It is estimated that by 2050, 16% of the world's population will be 65 and older, while 6% of the population will be younger than 5, ageism. The belief that age is associated with certain psychological, behavioral, and/or intellectual traits. Modernization theory argues that as a society becomes more technologically advanced, the position of the elderly declines. Age, impact on one's life. Age defines roles and expectations of behavior. Age influences the social groups to which one belongs. Age defines one's legal status. Age grading the assignment of social roles to different ages. Although the number of age grades varies by society, most societies make at least 3 distinctions: childhood, adulthood, and elderhood, % of U.S. population in 3 age groups. Year. % younger than 18. % 18 to 64. % 65 and older. 1950. 31.3. 60.6. 8.2. 2000. 25.7. 61.9. 12.4. 2006. 25. 63. 12. 2050. 23.7. 56. 20.3. Sandwich generation. The generation that has the responsibility of simultaneously caring for their children and their aging parents. Structural functionalist perspective emphasizes how one part of a social system interacts with other parts to benefit the whole. Disengagement theory. The elderly gradually relinquish their roles to younger members of society to maintain the integrity of the social system. The various age groups perform their respective functions. The young go to school, adults fill occupations, and the elderly disengage. Activity theory. The elderly disengage because they are segregated and isolated. Conflict perspective. The young and the old have subordinate statuses because they are not productive members of capitalist economy. Young and old are part of the dependent population. They are an economic drain on society. Symbolic interactionist perspective focuses on social meanings and definitions associated with age. Myths and media portrayals of elderly contribute to negative image of elderly and gerontophobia. Elderly are portrayed as childlike. Myths and facts about the elderly. Most are sick and in nursing homes. Less than 5% of elderly are in nursing homes. They are senile. Only 20 to 25% of the elderly develop Alzheimer's or some other brain disease. They are isolated from family members. Most older people have regular contact with friends and family. Myths and facts about the elderly. They are inefficient employees. Only 19.8% of men and 11.5% of women, 65 and older, are employed. Those who continue to work are efficient workers. They are not politically active. In 2004, individuals 65 and older were more likely to be registered to vote and/or to vote than any other age group. Myths and facts about the elderly. Sexual satisfaction disappears with age. Many elderly people report active and satisfying sex lives. They cannot adapt to new working conditions. A high proportion of the elderly are flexible in accepting change. Infantilizing elders. The portrayal of the elderly in the media as childlike in terms of clothes, facial expressions, temperament, and activities. Gerontophobia, fear or dread of the elderly. Child labor. Involves children performing work that is hazardous, interferes with their education, or harms their health or physical, mental, spiritual, or moral development. Virtually every country has laws that limit the extent to which children can be employed, yet an estimated 16 out of 100 children worldwide are child laborers. Each day in America one mother dies in childbirth. 4 children are killed by abuse or neglect. 5 children or teens commit suicide. 8 children or teens are killed by firearms. 77 babies die before their first birthdays. 192 children are arrested for violent crimes. Each day in America 383 children are arrested for drug abuse. 906 babies are born at low birth weight. 1,153 babies are born to teen mothers. 1,672 public school students receive corporal punishment. 1,839 babies are born without health insurance. Each day in America 2,261 high school students drop out. 2,383 children are confirmed as abused or neglected. 2,411 babies are born into poverty. Each day in America, 2,494 babies are born to mothers who are not high school graduates. 4,017 babies are born to unmarried mothers. 4,302 children are arrested. 17,132 public school students are suspended. Child prostitution and trafficking. Worldwide, it is estimated that there are 1 million child prostitutes. In the United States the estimate is 300,000. In some countries, particularly where HIV/AIDS is rampant, orphaned children work as prostitutes to support themselves. Some children are lured by traffickers with promises of employment, only to end up in a brothel. Increasing number of orphans. HIV/AIDS pandemic. The number of children orphaned by the disease is 15 million and is expected to grow to 25 million by 2010. Armed conflicts. The civil war in Rwanda is responsible for hundreds of thousands of orphans. Natural disasters. The December 2004 tsunami left hundreds of thousands of children orphaned and homeless. Poverty and economic discrimination. There are 2.2 billion children in the world, and nearly half of them live in poverty. The United States leads in child poverty, with a rate of 17%, or 1 out of every 6 children living in poverty in 2004. Children, violence, and the media. According to the Children's Defense Fund, U.S. children are 12 times more likely to die from gunfire, 16 times more likely to be murdered by a gun, 9 times more likely to die from a firearm accident than children in 25 other industrialized nations combined. Children's health. 1 in 5 children has a diagnosable mental disorder, such as depression or schizophrenia. Many girls have eating disorders such as anorexia nervosa or bulimia. Suicide is the 3rd most common cause of death of 10 to 14-year-olds, 15 to 19-year-olds, and 20 to 24-year-olds. Demographics, the graying of America. In 2005, the most recent year for which data are available, there were 36.8 million persons 65 years of age or older, representing about 1 in 8 Americans. Between 1995 and 2005, the percentage of persons 65 and older increased by 9.4%, and the number of those who will turn 65 in the next 2 decades increased by 40%. U.S. population pyramid, 1950. U.S. population pyramid, 2000. U.S. Population Pyramid, 2050. Age and sex. The fact that women live longer results in a sizable number of elderly women who are poor. Older women may have spent their savings on their husband's illness and, as homemakers, they may receive fewer Social Security benefits. 70% of all elderly poor are women, half of whom were not poor before the death of their husbands. Dependency ratio. The number of societal members that are under 18 or 65 and over compared with the number of people who are between 18 and 64, phased retirement. Allows workers to ease into retirement by reducing hours worked a day, days worked a week, or months worked a year. Phased retirement is not only beneficial for retirees, who may not want to continue to work full-time, but also good for employers, who benefit from the skills and knowledge of older employees. Poverty. Poverty among the elderly varies by sex, race, ethnicity, marital status, and age. Women, minorities, those who are single or widowed, and the old are most likely to be poor. Medicare. Established in 1966 to provide medical coverage to those over the age of 65. Medicare does not pay for routine physical examinations, most immunizations, dental care, glasses, and hearing aids. The difference between Medicare benefits and the actual cost of medical care is called the Medigap. Medicaid. A federally and state-funded program for those who cannot afford to pay for medical care. Eligibility requirements often disqualify many of the elderly poor, often minorities and women. Elder abuse. Physical or psychological abuse, financial exploitation, medical abuse, and/or neglect of the elderly. In the United States, the number of older Americans who are abused is estimated to be over 2.1 million,